Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to Congregation Beth Israel in Houston, Texas. We're so glad that you can join us this Shabbat. Shabbat is our day of rest, our day of joy. It allows us to create a separation from all that may have occurred during the week. May our prayers, our words and songs help to elevate your soul and bring you comfort, strength, and peace on this day. Please enjoy our worship service.
Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos to each of you. We're grateful to come together on this day, a day of rest and peace that enables us to create a separation from all that may have occurred during the week and celebrate together. We welcome those joining us on live stream. We're grateful to come together today and share in the joy of Chloe and Gabby being called to the Torah as Bat Mitzvah. Cantor will help set the tone for our worship service this morning as she leads us in singing.
We continue now with the singing of Hine Ma Tov. The words can be found on page 10. How good it is to be together.
Our service continues now on page 77.
Don't let me fall as a stone falls upon the hard ground, and don't let my hands become dry as the twigs of a tree when the wind beats down the last leaves. And when the storm rises dust from the earth with anger and howling, Don't let me become the last fly, trembling, terrified on a window pane. Don't let me fall. I've asked for so much, but as a blade of your grass in a distant wild field lets drop a seed in the lap of the earth and dies away. Sow in me your living breath as you sow a seed in the earth. Please turn to page 108 and rise for the Baruch. Page 110. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvrei choshe oseh shalom uvrei et hakol hameir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha berachamim uvtovo ma'adesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh reshit Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai kulam b'chochma asita mel'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shava ma'aseh yadecha ve'al ma'orei or sha'asita yaferucha selah or hadash al zion ta'ir v'niske kulanu mehera le'ero Baruch atah Adonai yotzer hamarot. We continue on page 113. Once or twice in a lifetime, a man or woman may choose a radical leaving, having heard, Lech Lecha, go forth. God disturbs us toward our destiny by hard events, and by freedom's now urgent voice which explode and confirm who we are. We don't like leaving, but God loves becoming. Baruch atah Adonai, haboher ba'amo Israel ba'ahava. Page 114. Shema Yisrael. Please be seated. Page 116. Ve'afta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levacha uvechol nashecha uvechol meodecha vechayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha chayom al levavecha veshinatam levanecha vedibartam ba'am Beshivtecha bebetecha, uvleftecha vadere, uvshokbeha, uvkumecha, uvshartam, leot al yadecha, v'yayu letofot b'neinecha, uvtavtam, amezot beitecha, uvisharecha, Leman tiskeru v'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim l'Eloheihem. Ani Adonai Eloheihem asher hoseiti ethem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lahem l'Elohim. Ani Adonai Eloheihem. We read together in the middle of the page. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you're away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign in your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. Adonai Eloheihem Emet. Please turn to page 121. Emet. There is no place where you are not. Even in the wilderness there is your word. Emet. The pin strokes of lightning, white fire, black flame. Stir the soul's passion, guard a sacred way. True and enduring as Torah, your truth for us is certain and established. Now and forevermore, like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out and rejoice.
We
Rock of Israel, rise in support of Israel, and redeem Judah and Israel as you promised. Our Redeemer, Adonai and Sevaot is your name. Blessed are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel.
We continue now with Tefillah on pages 124, 126, and 128. Please rise. Adonai Sefatai Tiftaf Ufi Agidehilateha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotinu ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rahel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Ve'anorah El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim Bekonei Hakol Vezoher Asheavo Ve'imaot Umeviga Ula Livnei V'nehem Leman Shemo Ve'ahava Mele Ozea Umashia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'elam Adonai Mehaye HaKol Ata Rav Lehoshia Mehakel Hayim Behesed Mehaye HaKol Berahamim Rabim Someh Noflim Verofel Holim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Mi Hamoha Baal Gevirot Umi Domela Melech Memit Umekayem Umatzmi Yeshua Vene'emanata Lehayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mehaye HaKol. We read together in the middle of page 128. You are forever mighty, Adonai. You give life to all. You sustain life through love, giving life to all. Through great compassion, supporting the fallen, healing the sick, freeing the captive, keeping faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, source of mighty acts? Who resembles you, a sovereign who takes and gives life, causing deliverance to spring up and faithfully giving life to all? Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Page 130.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivaot, Miloch Olarei. ומלכינו, ומושיענו וישמינו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חיים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגידות לך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו ממנו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
To all generations we will declare your greatness, and for all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Please be seated. Page 132.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת בכל ריבוני שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת בכל ריבוני שבת. מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם ישבעו ויתענגו מטובך השבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת בכל ריבוני שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת בכל ריבוני שבת. ובשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת בכל ריבוני שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת בכל ריבוני שבת.
We continue reading on page 133. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We continue reading together on page 135. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 137. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer to life, to peace, and to joy. May we find true rest and holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah. Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness, restrain our thirst for excess, and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer in life, in peace, and in joy. Page 139. For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations, Modim Anachnu La. For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons, Modim Anachnu La. For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements, Modim Anachnu La. For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression, Modim Anachnu La. For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared, modim anachnu la. For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom, modim anachnu la. For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose, modim anachnu la. We pray that we may live not by our fears but by our hopes, not by our words but by our deeds. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Page 140. Grant peace, goodness, and blessing, grace, kindness, and mercy to us and to all your people Israel. Bless us, our Creator, all of us together through the light of your presence. Truly through the light of your presence, Adonai our God, you gave us a Torah of life, the love of kindness, justice, and blessing, mercy, life, and peace. May you see fit to bless your people Israel at all times, at every hour, with your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace.
Shalom tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim, aleinu yal kol Yisrael, almecha. Sim shalom tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim, aleinu yal kol Yisrael.
We pray silently.
Meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, be acceptable to you. Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Adonai, my rock and
In our prayer book, we turn to page 244 as we prepare for the reading of Torah. Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai ve'ein kamasecha malchutcha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'ador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed
Adonai oz le'mo yiten, Adonai barech et amo v'ashalom. There is none like you among the gods, Adonai, and there are no deeds like yours. You are sovereign over all worlds, and your dominion is in all generations. Adonai reigns, Adonai has reigned. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Adonai will give strength to our people. Adonai will bless our people with peace. And now as we prepare for Torah transmission, we open the Holy Ark in honor of Brian's swearing, and in a moment we'll undress the Torah in honor of Michelle and Marvin Blum. And now we rise. Shabbat morning, when we open the Torah to read the 10 Commandments, we can only imagine standing at that high and marvelous place called Mount Sinai. This is our Mount Sinai. Standing before the Holy Ark, we take our place to receive the Torah, to pass it from generation to generation, just as our ancestors promised to God that the children and their children's children would be the future of our people. And so we witness it now, as we take the Torah and its teachings and pass them from parents to children, from generation to generation.
Ramamu Adonai Eloheinu, Yishtachavu Lachar Kocho, Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Exalt Adonai our God, and bow down to our God's holy mountain, for Adonai our God is holy.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu Gadol, Adonai Kadosh Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadlu l'Adonai iti, uneromema Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevura v'hativeret v'hanetzach v'hahod. Ki kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz, ki kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. Lecha Adonai halakal v'aminaseh lechol rosh.
This Shabbat morning, our Torah reading comes from Exodus, beginning in chapter 20, verse 1, and the portion called Yitro. It's a great pleasure to call on Felicia and Benjamin Lewitt and Zachary to recite the blessings over Torah as we give thanks to God for its gifts.
Baruch Adonai Haroch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Haroch Le'olam Va'ed. lanu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Amen. Vayedaber Elohim et kol hadvarim ha'ele lemor. Anochi Adonai Elohecha asher hoseticha me'eretz Mitzrayim mibeis avadim. Lo yilecha Elohim ahirim al panai. Lo taselecha vesel v'chol tmuna asher b'shemayim mimal v'asher ba'aretz mitachat v'asher b'mayim mitachat la'aretz. Lo tishtachaveh lachem ve'lo to'edem ki Anohi Adonai Elohecha Elkanah Poked Avon Avot Albanim Ashleishim ve'araba'im Lesunai ve'oseh hesed le'alafim Lo chovai Reshomrei mitzvotai.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'hayolam nafta v'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ta'amod, reina la'aliyah la Torah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Varach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Vrach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Lo tisa et shem Adonai Elohecha lashav, ki lo yenakeh Adonai et asher yisar et shemo lashav. Zachor et yom hashebat lekadesho, sheshe yamim ta'avod, va'asita chomatecha, ve'yom hashvi'i Shabbat l'Adonai Elohecha. Lo ta'aseh chomlacha ata avdecha avatacha avdecha ve'amnatacha ubehemtecha ve'giracha asher b'sha'arecha, ki shisha yamim asa Adonai et hashemayim ve'et ha'aretz et hayam ve'kol asher bam vayana bayom hashvi'i al kain be'ra Adonai et yom chashabat ve'yekadeshehu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Our Torah reading continues in Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. And it's a pleasure to call on Nora and Jonathan and Isabel Zanger.
Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Amen. Kabed et aviha ve'imeha lema'an ya'arihu unyameha al ha'adama asher Adonai Eloheha notain la lo tirsa lo tin af lo tino lo ta'ane b're'aha ed shaker lo tahmod be're'aha lo tahmod eshet re'aha ve'avdo ve'amato v'shoro v'hamoro ve'hol asher l're'aha.
Torah temet be'olam natan letovenu baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ta'amod Gabriela Aliyah la Torah.
Baruchu et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notain HaTorah.
Amen.
Behoham Ro'im et hakulot ve'et halapidim ve'et kol hashofar ve'et hahar ashin vayar ha'am vayanu vayamedu merahok vayamru el Moshe daber ata imanu v'nishma'a ve'el yadaber imanu Elohim penamud vayomer Moshe elham al tira'u ki leva'avor nasot etahem baha Elohim uva'avor tiyeh yato al peneihem levilti te'etau. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher nata lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata betoheinu. Baruch atah Adonai notain ha'Torah.
Amen.
So beautiful. Step back carefully. Give your hands a big hug. So beautiful. And this morning we dress the Torah in honor of Myron Alfio Costarina and Barbara Zenger and Bill Ashton.
Haftarah comes from the book of Isaiah chapter 6, verses 1 through 3. Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who has chosen faithful prophets to speak words of truth. Praise to you, Adonai, for the revelation of Torah, for your servant Moses, for your people Israel, and for the prophets of truth and righteousness. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw my liege seated on a throne, high and exalted with a robe whose train filled the temple. Seraphim stood about, each with 6 wings, 2 covering the face, 2 covering the body, and 2 to fly with. And each called to the other, Holy, holy, holy is the God of heaven's host, whose presence fills all the earth.
We continue with verses 4 through 5. Vayanu amo chasipim mikol hakorei v'chabait yimale ashan va'omor oili hinit meti ki ish teme sefatayim anochi Uftov am tamei sefatayim yoshev an ki et hamelech Adonai tzevaot ra'u einai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Zor kol halamim, Sadik bechol hadarot, Ha'el haniman, Chamer vosei, Hamadaber umakaye, Sheho devara, Emet v'tzedek, Al haTorah, V'al havodah, Ve'el hamve'i, Ve'el yom Shabbat hazeh, Shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Lekedusha, V'lemenucha, Lechavod uv'ti'aretz, Al chakol, Adonai Eloheinu, Enachnu modim la, Umvorhim ota, Yitbarach shimcha, Bifim kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed, Baruch Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
My Torah portion is from the book of Exodus. This portion discusses the first 4 Ten Commandments, including having one God, not worshiping idols, not swearing falsely by God, and observing Shabbat. Receiving the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai is one of the biggest events in our Jewish history. There is a lot of discussion about what happened at Mount Sinai during this time. Some rabbis believe that Moses did not receive all of the written and oral laws in their entirety at Mount Sinai, but other rabbis feel that Moses was given 2 Torahs at Mount Sinai, the oral Torah and the written Torah. When Moses was at Mount Sinai, there was a lot of noise, thunder, and commotion on the mountain, and a lot of people speculate about what really happened there. Regardless of what happened on Mount Sinai and the different opinions from the rabbis, Jewish tradition teaches us that something did develop between God and the Jewish people at Mount Sinai. We might not understand all of what happened or what occurred in the moment at Mount Sinai, but we know for sure that Mount Sinai is where Moses was given the 10 Commandments from God. When I studied the Torah for my Bat Mitzvah, I thought about which commandment was the most important to me. I think that the most significant commandment is to have only one God. Having one God is the essence of our Jewish faith, serves as a foundation for the rest of the mitzvot, and unites Jewish people all over the world. Even though many of us are very different, we're all united during this time. We're all dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. This pandemic did not just affect one country or just one group of people, it affected the entire world. Therefore, during this pandemic, I decided to focus my mitzvah project on the Interfaith Ministries Meals on Wheels through a Jewish Community Center. I wanted to raise money and have a food drive for this program. This program provides food to everyone, regardless of their religion or faith. This project was important to me because I was able to help older people who were in need of food and who did not feel safe going to the grocery store during this time. Many people are worried about the pandemic because they might not have had the resources they've had before the pandemic, and some feel that going to the grocery store is risky. I'm grateful that through my mitzvah project, I was able to donate approximately $2,000 of food and monetary donation to the Meals on Wheels program. My Torah portion is also significant to me because my brother, Zachary, became a bar mitzvah in February 2017, and his Torah portion was about the splitting of the Red Sea. My bat mitzvah is approximately 4 years after his bar mitzvah, and my Torah portion is basically right after his Torah portion. At Zachary's bar mitzvah, he spoke out about how the Israelites were freed from slavery out of Egypt and then had to cross the Red Sea. My Torah portion comes right after his Torah portion, where we learn about Moses getting the 10 Commandments from God at Mount Sinai. Another significant fact about my bat mitzvah date is that my mother also had her bat mitzvah on February 6th and 7th, 1981. As I was trying to decide if I should postpone my bat mitzvah until a future date, I decided that having my bat mitzvah during this time felt like the right thing to do. So many things are uncertain, and we've all had to deal with many postponements and events getting canceled during this time. Having my bat mitzvah during the same period as my brother and mother is very significant to me. I'd like to thank the Beth Israel clergy, Rabbi Lyon, Rabbi Scott, Rabbi Saloff, and Cantor Chapter for supporting me and guiding me and helping me to prepare for my bat mitzvah. To my bat mitzvah tutor, Debbie, I appreciate you working with me to prepare me for a bat mitzvah. I know it was not easy as we had to meet through Zoom, but you always try to motivate me during our meetings. You always try to get me to say woohoo after every practice as a way of congratulating myself. Thank you for being so encouraging. Gabby, being your friend has been so much fun. I love hanging out with you, our sleepovers, our Friday night get-togethers, skateboarding, and bicycling around the neighborhood with you, and to all the fun movies we watched together. It's been so much fun being your friend. I can't wait to see what our future holds. Thank you to my family and friends who attended my bat mitzvah in person. I appreciate you all for being here and for supporting me. It really means a lot. To my family and friends watching my bat mitzvah on live stream, thank you. I appreciate your support. I wish you were all here in person, but I hope we can be together soon. To my bubby, I enjoyed going to your house, watching TV with you, and spending time with you. I really miss you. I wish you could have been here with me today. To my Zadie, I wish I could have spent more time getting to know you. Our time together was cut short. To my grandparents, Regina and Warner, I wish I could have met both of you. Even though we never met, my dad has told me so much about both of you. Each of you are with me in my heart today. Zachary, thank you for being my guardian sometimes and acting like you're my parent. You are a great big brother. Thank you for pushing me to become better at video games. I love you. Dad, thank you for pushing me how to learn to ride a bike because after that one fall so long ago, I didn't want to learn anymore. Thank you for being here to help me. Thank you for being there to help me for math homework and always being there for me when I needed you. For always going roller coaster rides with me when I didn't want to go myself. Thank you for everything. I love you. Mom, I love you so much. Thank you for all the fun memories we've made so far. Making a chocolate cake from a pre-K class was such a wonderful and fun memory. I love riding the roller coaster at Sealed with you and how scared you were on that kiddie roller coaster. Shopping with you is always so much fun. I love the times you took me to the roller rink during open playtime. It was so much fun riding my scooter around the roller rink. Thank you for being so important to me and for everything you do for me. I love you. Last but not least, I'd like to thank God for allowing me to reach this milestone and for keeping me, my family, friends, and clergy safe during this uncertain time. My bat mitzvah has truly been a very special and meaningful time for me and my family. Thank you all for being a part of my bat mitzvah celebration. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
This Torah portion provides us with the basic rules of society, such as honoring your parents, respecting life and property, being honest and fair in your dealings with your neighbor, and remaining faithful to God. The Israelites asked God not to talk to them directly, but rather to give the information to Moses, who will deliver it to the Israelites. God does just that. He gives Moses the tablets that outline the 10 Commandments. In the commandments, God provides rules for our benefit so that we can avoid negative experiences. God's message to us: remain faithful, respectful to the commandments, and keep God at the center of your life. Like a loving parent, God's wisdom is reflected in the rules. Treat others with care and respect, the good recipe for meaningful relationships. Forgetting these rules puts you at risk for breaking them, which in turn will lead to disappointment, missed opportunities, or even sorrow or tragedy. Jewish tradition teaches us that at Mount Sinai, God and the Israelites entered into a sacred covenant. This sacred agreement is a promise to live by the rules that God has provided. The 10 Commandments are the framework for the ethical and ritual responsibilities that give our lives meaning so that we can reap the blessings that come from abiding by God's laws. God's laws may seem a bit obvious to us, and well they should, as they are reflected in our judicial system and our cultural norms. As I studied my Torah portion, the commandment that resonated with me most was, "Thou shalt honor thy mother and father." Why, you ask, would this rule stand out for me? Perhaps because of my daily life. This is a rule which I am most often confronted. Similar to God's rules, my parents' rules are designed to keep peace. Our house is a microcosm where adults and kids work to stay faithful to essential rules, like use kind words, clean up after yourself, be honest, and help out when you can. Therefore, honoring my parents' rules is really in line with honoring God's laws. Just as God set the foundation for the Israelites to avoid trouble, my parents have done the same for Isabel, Danielle, and me, although everyone makes mistakes. A couple years back, I was practicing handstands in my living room. My parents told me to stop because I was practicing on the wood floor. Unfortunately, I did not listen, and that night I was taken to the ER with a concussion. This may be an extreme example, but it illustrates the point that many times your parents are telling you things that they've had to learn over time, and they're always looking out for your best interest. I had my first semi-parenting experience as part of my Bat Mitzvah project. I fostered dogs, and let me tell you, it was not easy. First, there was Luna, a sweet older dog who did not require much work. She was obedient and seemed to be very grateful to have a warm place to stay and to get fed regularly. Next, I fostered 2 6-week-old puppies named Penne and Torellini. They were so little and adorable, but they required a great deal of care. Medications, frequent breaks, feeding, bathing, and cleaning up after frequent accidents. I had to get up early and stay up late. I had to scoop, mop, and laundry. This was a real job, but I had a lot of help from my parents and even my siblings. It was a real group effort. This experience provided me with a new perspective. It gave me an appreciation for the loving investment of time and effort that parents give their kids and that my parents have given me and my sisters. I know that following my parents' rules helped us as a group to take care for the puppies, and know these rules have helped me become a person who is capable of contributing to our community. These rules are steeped in Jewish values for keeping peace and fortifying my relationships with others and with God. On this special day, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank my parents, my sisters, Isabel and Danielle, my wonderful extended family, my friends, and the Beth Israel, Schlenker, and Emery Wiener communities for providing guidance and exemplary examples of living Jewish values, and for their contribution to my spiritual development. I would also like to thank Chloe and the Lewin family, Debbie Uzik, cantor trumpeter Rabbi Sadaloff, and Rabbi Scar and Rabbi Line for their support in achieving this milestone. During this unprecedented time, it seems fitting to offer a prayer to God to keep us healthy and safe. Thank you so much for coming today and taking the time to help me celebrate this memorable event. Shabbat Shalom.
Wonderful. Gabrielle, Gabby, come and stay here. You can stand right there. Good, good. I know the congregation is not as full as what you normally expect it to be, but family and friends are here, and there are people on the camera. Do you want to wave for just a second? Wonderful. Good, good. Now turn and face me so I can talk to you for a moment. Chloe and Gabby It's a very beautiful morning, and I appreciate, we all do, how hard you prepared for this day. Prayer leading, chanting Torah beautifully, and teaching us so meaningfully from the portion that we all are familiar with. There are some Torah portions that people say, I've never heard that one, it's so unfamiliar. But when we read and chant and teach from the Ten Commandments, that's something everybody knows. And yet you also taught us something new today. Chloe, you come from a family that is so steeped in Jewish tradition, family values, and community importance. And it's clearly reflected in everything that you were growing up to be. And I know how hard it was to keep the date and to stick with it and to work hard. But for the reasons that you described and for many more, you're a part of the rhythm of our Jewish life. And this is your time, Chloe. And you honored yourself and all of us with everything that you did. You're right about telling us that the commandments tell us about all kinds of things that we need to take an obligation and responsibility for doing. And your mitzvah project is a perfect example. Sometimes we get confused and we think that religion is all about lighting candles or reciting prayers. And as important as that is, because we say to God what's in our heart and our soul, and we want to learn what God has given us to do and to be, Judaism is also a religion of action. And your mitzvah project is a perfect example of what it means to help people have what they truly need. Meals on Wheels is significant. At the ERJCC and at Interfaith Ministries, I saw the pictures and I watched the video of you in action when reporters came to learn what Chloe Lewin was doing for Interfaith Ministries and Meals on Wheels. It's a beautiful project and a real symbol of all that you are preparing to do, Chloe. Not just because your parents and your family stand for it, but because you are embracing it for yourself and you know how to make a difference. I also appreciate your words of gratitude, Chloe. None of this happens on its own or in a vacuum. You have been helped and supported by so many people who are here with us this day and those whom you remember so dearly. So in your head and your heart, you are growing in a beautiful way. We're proud of you this day, and we look forward to all that you'll continue to do in the future. Mazel tov. Gabby, you are a powerhouse of strength in that little package. And I just want to say, I was just impressed. Listening to you chant and sing and read, you did a beautiful job, Gabby. And I appreciate what you taught us, too, from your Torah portion and all the ways that Jewish day school has helped you be a part of the rhythm of Jewish life. You, too, have taken your place and learned and taught us well. I love the commandment that you highlighted, Kabed et avicha ve'et imecha, honor your father and your mother. There's a Torah commentary that asks the question, why does it say honor your father first and then your mother? Well, one of the answers is that you have a natural relationship with mother because she gives birth to you. The relationship with father takes a little more effort sometimes. But we accomplish it, and clearly, as a part of your family, you all work together so well to focus on what matters most. And I appreciate, too, that you saw yourself in perspective. Sometimes you honor your parents with all the rules that they give you. And I hope you healed quickly from that concussion. I can only imagine that day in your house. But as you became a parent, so to speak, to all those dogs, you found out very quickly how responsible you had to be, how difficult it can be to train people who don't listen very well, and animals to boot. We happen to have a new puppy in our house too, and I know what you're talking about. You might have to come over and help us, Gabby. That would be very helpful. But as you continue to grow, you're going to find yourself in a number of different leadership positions, sometimes honoring those who are older or in authoritative positions, but sometimes being counted on to be the leader where you are. And now that you have become a leader in worship, a leader of animals, and a leader in your family too, Gabby, there's no question that you're going to accomplish what you set your heart and mind to do. And if along the way you have to ask yourself, how do I do it again? I hope you'll remember this day when you became a Bat Mitzvah, a Jewish adult in our community prepared to honor the Ten Commandments and all the mitzvot that you've come to learn and to know for yourself. And as I said last night to both of you, that Kiddush was beautiful. You could go on tour as a duet singing. It was just beautiful. But even on your own, you bring so much. We're so very, very proud of you. Thank you, Gabby, for all that you did today. And in honor of your achievement, I want to share with you gifts from the congregation. First, these are Kiddush cups from the sisterhood that you can take home with you to raise on Shabbat and special holidays to sanctify those moments. And for each of you, a certificate, a gift certificate from the Reformed Jewish Movement for $250 for each of you. And it's to use to help pay for a trip to Israel sponsored by the Reform Movement. And when you get there, to discover again Torah and history and our origins, but also everything that Israel is about today. Innovation, ingenuity, strength. For a little country, barely 70 years old, it has accomplished so much. And these, Chloe and Gabby, are your certificates of Bat Mitzvah. They say that you were called to the Torah, you read and chanted from Yitro that contained the Ten Commandments, and made us very, very proud this day. And so now I'd like to call on Rabbi Scott, who is here, Rabbi Saddleoff standing by, and cantor trumpeter, to share with us the blessing of old, that it may go well with you today and for years to come. If you'll just turn and face the Holy Ark behind me, we extend this blessing to you. May it always go well with you. May God bless you and keep you.
May God's presence shine upon you and always be good to you.
May God grant you all that you wish for yourselves, and all that your family and friends wish for you too. May it be long life, mitzvah, and a world to enter and to enjoy in peace.
Amen.
Amen. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. You can return to your seats. And now we prepare to return the Torah to the Holy Ark. We open the doors of the Holy Ark in honor of Arlene and Dennis Hernandez and David Zanger and Sandy Crawford. As we raise the Torah now, we rise. Yehalelu Shem Adonai ki nizgav shemo levado. Let us praise the name of the Lord, for God's name alone is exalted. Turn to the bottom of page 282 and 287, and we join in Alleinu.
Alleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמי
משפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהן, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
Please remain standing.
We turn now to page 294. And as we do, we call to heart and to mind all of our loved ones who have departed this earth and gone on to the peace of life eternal. And on this Shabbat, we're especially thinking of those members of Chloe and Gabby's family who are here with us today in spirit. Lovingly, we remember Marie Swern, Gerson Swern, Regina Lewin, Werner Lewin, Bessie Feldman, Max Feldman, Regina Hewitt, Benjamin Hewitt, Jenny Ritchies, Lee Ritchies, Fanny Swern, Abe Swern, Edith Lewin, Bruno Lewin, Joseph Swern, Blossom Zenger, Alan Zenger, Michael Reyes. In each of their honor and their memory, we continue now with words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alman divrach hirutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Israel, v'agalav v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'rechu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shamaya, v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and bring comfort to all of the bereaved among us, as together we say, Amen. Please be seated. At this time in our service, our formal prayers have ended, but our blessings continue. And so I'd like to invite Chloe to join me here on the lower bima, this time with your parents, so that they may share some personal words with you.
Chloe, you did an amazing job, and you did it beautifully under such different circumstances. As we all know, preparing to become a bat mitzvah is really hard work in the best of times, let alone during a pandemic. You prepared for your bat mitzvah over Zoom almost the entire time. Your bat mitzvah is not what you had envisioned, but it has been a very special time for you and our family. There are some important lessons learned from this experience about your resilience and how you adapted, and actually about how all of this connects to Judaism as a whole. Throughout our history, the Jewish people have dealt with a lot of difficulties. We have dealt with threats to our existence and our practice. As part of your Bat Mitzvah service, we pass the Torah, symbolizing the continuity of the Jewish tradition and the responsibility of you, the next generation, to carry it forward. This weekend, you join the many generations of Jews who've been called to the Torah before you. You are a link in the chain that connects our past to our future, and you represent all that is promising and possible. At your bat mitzvah, I want you to know how proud I am of you. I have watched you grow from a baby to a young woman. I am so proud of the beautiful, smart, creative, funny person you have become. I pray that you will continue to follow your own path and will use your talents to do something remarkable that will make a difference. Remember to live each day to the fullest. Get the most from each day of your life, then you could look forward with confidence and look back without regrets. Take time to appreciate the moment and to find peace and faith within you. Continue to use your great sense of humor to keep things in perspective. Look for something good in each day and each person. Remember to laugh and to enjoy life. May you continue to grow to be strong in body and mind, to love what is good and true, and may you never forget how much I love you. I thank God for the privilege of seeing you grow and for seeing you attain this milestone. On this day, our cherished dreams and hopes are fulfilled, and new dreams and new hopes are born. I ask God to watch over you, and may the teachings of our Jewish heritage guide you through life, and may you lead a life worthy of God's blessings. Amen.
Well, how can I follow up on that one? So, I wanted to congratulate you, Chloe. You did an amazing job. You did it flawlessly. And I just wanted to say, you've turned out to be a beautiful and intelligent young girl. I know that in your mind you will lead. I know that your mind will lead you to do right things for your future and lead you on a path of success. Always remember to first be a righteous and self-supportive adult before depending on anybody else. Your cheerful, kind-hearted, and playful demeanor has always been a joy for us as well as all your friends. You have given us much joy and some aggravation, but that's part of being a teenager. I truly enjoy seeing your fiercely competitive nature on the court and field. You do not let anyone push you around, and no matter what their size is, stay strong and tough, because in this world, you will encounter situations that will challenge you. Always remember to listen to your older parents and keep in mind that they have been there and have done that, so they know what they're talking about. Learn from people with experience, so you do not have to make all the same mistakes. I'm looking forward with excitement for all the years we have in front of us and to see what happens next. I'm sure you'll do great. I love you very much, and I'm very proud of you that you're my daughter.
And now, Gabby, I'd like to invite you to join me here on the lower bima, this time with your parents, so that they may share some personal words with you.
Do you want to stand on? Can you take your mask off? Stand there. Take your mask off. Thank you. First, I'd like to thank the clergy and all the people at Beth Israel who've made this event possible, helping Gabby attain this milestone. I also want to congratulate Chloe and the Lewins. Gabby, watching you grow and become the beautiful and kind person you are today has been a pleasure and a joy. As all parents do, I wish you happiness, health, prosperity, and success. But beyond that, I hope you always have the resilience and skills to recover if and when these things elude you. Life will test you, as it does everyone. I hope you can retain your strong commitment to social justice and treat others fairly, even when you are not treated fairly. I hope you use the diplomacy skills you have honed and developed as a beloved middle sister
to continue to bridge gaps that lead to shared understanding and peace wherever you go. At times when you don't get what you want, I hope you can be happy with what you have. Always remember your own value, even when others forget. To quote Maya Angelou, life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. I wish for you lots of breathtaking moments, adventure, travel, and fun, but that you never forget your roots, your family and friends, your community that will always be here for you no matter where you go, and your Jewish faith that will act to strengthen and guide you. I love you more than words can express, and I'm so very proud of you today and always.
So, Gabby, first I'd like to take an opportunity to congratulate you and Chloe on becoming a bat mitzvah today. You guys just did a terrific job. I think it was an inspiration to all of us, and we're very proud of you. I also want to take a second and thank our wonderful rabbis and cantor and the entire temple staff. I think it's amazing that even in the midst of pandemic, we can make this such a special day. And then finally, I want to take a second and thank all the family and friends of the Zanger and Lewin family for making time to come out today and join us on this very special day. Gabby, I know that I told you I was going to use this time to make a lot of bad dad jokes, but your mom told me that I'm really just not that funny. So I decided to use this time to impart, some thoughts that I've had with me for a long time. Gabby, we're so proud and blessed to have a daughter like you. Since you were a baby, I always told your mother, I have no worries about Gabby. And I know that sounds like a crazy thing for a father to say. And honestly, as a father, I did worry about you quite a bit. But what I meant was that someone with your energy, talent, creativity, and natural curiosity, we could always count on you to become the beautiful lady that you are today. This can be sort of humiliating as a parent. You seem to learn things like a player picks up skills on Fortnite. Whether it's your cheer team or skating or guitar or music or Torah, you take on new challenges with a drive and attitude that not very many people have. You've also always shown great emotional intellect and a strong sense of social justice, as well as caring for those closest to you. It's clear that the empathy and community are powerful animating forces that will guide your decisions in the future. I think that I speak for everyone that knows you when I say we're excited to see how far you'll go and the amazing things that you'll do as a young adult. Now, hopefully, with all these compliments, I have your attention because there are some thoughts that I want to share with you that have always kind of helped me. Care for yourself and become the person that you want to be. Today is the beginning of your own personal dialogue with God, and it's time to start tending for your inner well-being. The care and love that you afford to yourself is reflected in the love that you give to others. Always make sure to forgive yourself. Struggle and pain and failure are natural parts of life that everyone experiences. You can learn from these experiences, but don't let them define you. Find the thing that you love and commit to making it your own. When you're doing the thing that you love, all the other definitions of success fall away. Don't be afraid to take risks. Just be smart about it. Figuring out the risks worth taking means appreciating the upsides, but also understanding what happens if you don't have a safety net. And finally, challenge your beliefs, but don't give up on them. An idea that gets shaped over time eventually turns into wisdom. Gabby, you're such a wonderful daughter. We love you so much. Congratulations on this day.
We invite the Zangers to stay here, the Lewins to join us, including Zachary and Isabel, and Danielle, please, to come forward so that we can share our concluding blessings together over our wine and challah.
Girls, if you'll hold your Kiddush cup up in your hand. And if everybody would please rise, we can share these blessings with you. We join in singing together.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen.
Take a sip of wine. Good. And there's a challah in front of each of you. We can uncover the challah and share the familiar blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. You can help yourself to a little challah and share with your family. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos. Mazel tov.
Thank you for joining us here at Congregation Beth Israel in Houston. Sharing Shabbat with you is so meaningful to us. Let's join together again very soon. My best wishes to you for a very good week. Shabbat Shalom.